presentation. And we also had with the preschool and kindergarten. As our district continues to provide a better service at those levels, how would that, I guess, impact kind of our English language learners? And because I see the numbers are in year 2, year 3 in some areas it's a little bit heavier. I guess my question is, are we ready if that was to diminish, and as opposed to if, at some point, where's the flexibility in the funding, I guess, in those services either were to increase or decrease depending on demographics? So
So we have the ability to, we will need to be revising the plan. It's a 3-year plan, but the revision is made to the plan every spring. So next year at around this time, we will make revisions to the plan. The DSLT, our district school leadership team, will meet again and then make revisions to the plan. We'll analyze and see what are some of the things that are strong in the plan, where do we need to allocate more funds, more resources. So there's definitely revisions that will occur every year.
Do you have any suggestions? Okay. Thank you. Okay, I had a few in order. Okay, page 20, where it states provide 2 themes of discipline for the middle school. I know this has been a topic that's been around for a bit at a school district. And honestly, not if you were just putting a band-aid on top of something that needs to be more addressed. I mean, we're talking just about discipline, but we're not talking about how are we going to help those students, that are in desperate need of extra services. Like for example, the students, it's only a few students that are causing so many problems at the middle school. I mean, not because they want to be disciplined, because they need further help. They need more attention. And I know at the past we used to have more services for these students that that needed more help. So what I'm trying to suggest is that instead of spending all this money, to have 2 weeks of discipline, how about we have some kind of alternate classroom or alternate school site, to address the help that these students need. Because honestly, there's so much you could discipline a student and they're never going to change. But if you help them and if you target the problems that they have, it's a possibility that you could help them out and determine whether or not, because every situation is unique. I mean, you just can't be saying, okay, discipline him. That's it. Here's a target, or here's a part or something like that. We need to address, what help the students need. I mean, it's just about, easy solution, for everybody. Just send them to the dean. That's it. Get right up. So we need to find some kind of alternate, alternate school that we used to have, or classroom where we can send students, that might need help. Or something like that. So I don't know how the rest of the board feels when it comes to this. Because we're talking about spending $260,000, the first year, the second year $270,000, and the third year $280,000. So we're going to spend this money. Let's spend it wisely and see how can we target on helping these students that need help, not just by discipline. That's it. That's not the solution. Because if it hasn't helped them, once they're in the middle school, they're going to carry the same problems to high school, and they might not graduate. So we target these problems earlier. It's going to be beneficial for them. Of course, probably we're looking at an easy solution for this. Just have a dean of discipline. But in reality, if we really want to help the student, we need to make sure that we address those problems and we work with the families.
Mr. Navarro, if I could make a point, we have an alternative school about maybe a year or 2 ago, and we only consisted of maybe 4 to 5, almost maybe 10 students. And what a lot of parents felt like it was just sitting them and sticking them into a school site and just saying, okay, you're having behavioral problems, you're having this, we're going to put you here. We also have to remember, I understand and I do agree with you on certain points, but let's think of the bigger picture. There's children that also have behavioral problems, yes, but we have to consider what is in their environment at home. There are so many things that we don't know as administrators, as board members, as teachers, counselors, and so on and so forth. Remember, we provide a service. There are certain boundaries that we have to have too, because we do not know what goes on in those children's homes. And in Lennox, let's just be honest, 45 to 50% of them do come from broken homes. They come from families that have incarcerated parents, things like that. So in order to stick them in a school kind of off the side will maybe diminish their self-esteem for one. They may feel like they're outkicked because there are children that feel already changing because of the environment. They're already going into middle school and they're changing so much. So with that being said, the money point that I see what you're saying, I totally agree with you. But I would consider that maybe once we have all the, the public to come forth and say, well, their ideas, it would be good to actually to see where they feel and where they're at, and maybe not just considering a separate school site, but even maybe presenting one individual that will just handle the being of discipline, because currently we have 3 assistant principals who are newly into their position, and they need help and proper professional development as well to handle that. And then we also have 3 great counselors that do the same thing, but they need people. So we do have to look at the money, I totally agree, but on some point we have to think about, it's easy for us to set up this area, but what does that do to the children and their insights and stuff?
Yeah, I agree with what you said, but I don't think that having deans of discipline, I think we should probably take into consideration, getting feedback from our counselors who work directly with the students and get input from the parents and to determine whether or not, having deans of discipline is going to be the best solution for this. Because we're talking only about, having 2 deans of discipline. So we're going to spend all this amount of money, we have to spend it wisely. Because
I wasn't saying 2. I was only considering one for the school side and maybe providing more services, but not necessarily having 2, because you have to remember the campus is now all 1, 6, 7, and 8. If we continue to separate them so much to the point where certain children being transitioning in different levels from the elementary school side to the middle school, it can diminish and make them want to behave more. Because remember, we are providing a service, but we don't actually know what's going on at home. And most of the discipline problems do stem from their environment at home.
If I may, Ms. Allen, I do hear you. I think you and Mr. Navarro kind of hitting on the same points regarding one, we need to look for how we're using the money there, and 2, that we make sure that the disciplining at LMS is handled. If you were to look on that same page 20, and you look at the bottom where it says explore the implementation of mentoring program for both boys and girls. I mean, I don't know if that's something we can do as a board, and maybe as opposed to...
That's actually something that will be great to consider, and that's why I think, well, when the parents and the public come, to voice their opinions and their ideas on it, then it can kind of make it into from our view to the public, from talking to the administration through the superintendent. It can become a conglomerate where we can make something up, because Mr. Navarro makes a great point on the fact with the money factor. Because in the past, we have spent so much on a certain thing, and then it comes out, it doesn't work properly. So with that, just kind of more or less collaborating, I think if we get a chance to collaborate with everyone and just come up with something, just kind of picking the brain, per se, from everything, I think we could come up with something even better.
So you're recommending, I guess, getting more input from the public and as well as
Right,
Mr.
because
Navarro
we
said
have our
teachers.
own,